Hi Guy, this is a response video to MMAC78 or MMAC78, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. He basically just did a video called 1970s Retro Gaming, Where It All Began. Now I think I must just be a bit younger than him, because I'm only 29 at the moment, because I was born in 1979, so retro gaming for me really started in the 1980s, quite early. I think it was like 84, 85. My parents bought me a Commodore 16, so it wasn't even a console, and I think probably the first taste of gaming I had before that was on an Atari 2600. A guy across the way had one, and yeah, I think the odd game of Popeye and possibly Pong that he had on cart at the time. I can barely remember anything about it. But my first system, of course, was the Commodore 16. Came with Rolf Harris like artwork program. I can remember next to nothing about it. Very, very basic. Some sort of Bugs Bunny game. Again, I can't remember anything about that. There was a chess packing one, and I actually remember forcing myself to try and learn chess about the age of 5 or 6. No, it didn't happen. I knew very, very little about it. There was a Pac-Man clone with it. A game called Cops and Robbers, which was a pretty basic maze game where you had to avoid the cops running around the screen trying to, I think it was steal diamonds and so on. I think that was recently covered in Retro Gamer, though I might be wrong. It was a fantastic game at the time. I remember as a little kid spending lots and lots of time with it. God, I'm really dredging the memory barrel now. There was Mr. Puniverse as well as its sequel, which was a Manic Miner sort of game, a single screen like platform where you'd run from the top to the bottom, try to collect items and get your way across. I think that was quite famous at the time because it was featured on GMTV or whatever it was called, on ITV back in the mid 80s. Yeah. So God, I think I only had that system for about 2 years, but the problem was because the desk it was sat on, the Power Pack, which was a huge massive thing by Commodore, was always sat on the back end of the desk because the leads were really short. It kept falling off, and then one time it just fell off and then died completely. And of course, back in the 80s, you know, didn't have the money to replace stuff like that back in the day, so it just ended up being forgotten for a couple of years. God, yeah, I went a couple of years after that before I got another system, which was a Master System, but that's another story. But yeah, so that was my first system. I don't have it anymore, obviously, because that Power Pack broke. And when I was much older, about 11 or 12, I ended up, I actually remember throwing it in a skip, the system. We kept it for a good 5 years, but yeah, there was no eBay back then. No way of picking up replacements or anything, so it just ended up in the bin. It's not a bad deal, because I mean, looking at the system now on eBay, it's not worth much anyway, and it's not really something I'd be interested in getting back into again, because you can always go down the emulation route. So yeah. So I'm going to post this as a video response to MMAC, but I mean, if anyone else wants to talk about the old gaming memories, then God, yeah, you know, jump in. You know, what was your first system? What do you still have it? What game do you remember from it? So yeah. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I shall do my best to post another video soon. And I would just add, in case you're wondering why it's so dark, the bloody bulb went early and I've not got any spares in, so it's like this. So yeah, and as always, guys, thanks again.